Hi, I'm Technical Sergeant Logan Keese with the United States Air Force Band's Airman of Note. I'm a jazz trumpet player with the ensemble, and so in that capacity, my duties specifically fall on section playing and improvisation. I've been given the opportunity to speak with you all today about how to maintain one's practice schedule, routine, and how to keep your chops in shape in a time where most of us are not able to perform in ensembles or with other musicians on a regular basis, or, as is the case right now, really at all. In general, practice at home or self-practice is always, for me, going to focus a lot on technique and fundamentals. But as a jazz trumpet player, I also have to focus on maintaining creativity, maintaining that spark that is so vital for being able to improvise and play extemporaneously. So today I wanted to very quickly talk about one of the ways in which I do that, while also kind of reviewing a few other things that you might be able to utilize yourself, whether you're an improviser or not. So first, I, among many people, am of the firm belief that practicing fundamentals is oftentimes best done with method books. I think this applies to every instrument, but in general, for the trumpet, being able to access a great variety of information is crucial to being able to play the instrument as well as possible. So the first thing I wanted to do was just show you a few of the books that I work out of just about every single day. First is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Clark, put that up to the screen right there, yeah, right there, the Clark book. It's simple, but it's incredibly effective. There's a lot of studies in there and a lot of exercises on flow, on proper usage of air, being able to move through all the registers of the instrument effectively, and expand your range. And you can apply a multitude of different techniques while utilizing this book. Another that's a favorite of mine, that's great for a number of things. I'm sorry, I don't have a cover for this anymore. I've used it so much. This is the Collins Advanced Lip Flexibilities book. You can see that there. This is an absolutely fantastic book. If you're looking to expand your range, if you're looking to build up your endurance, if you're looking to improve your flexibility, if you're looking to, hopefully, which you should be doing all the time, maintaining a quality tone center throughout each of the registers of your instrument while moving around it fluidly. This book is unparalleled. It's very difficult. It does start off significantly easier, but as you go along, it starts to get a lot more challenging. But there's something in here for everybody, for every student, and you can adapt any of these exercises to meet your needs and to meet your abilities. So don't feel like you have to play something even though it might be out of your range or out of your technique level. And third, of course, is the Venerable Arbin's book. This book literally has everything that a trumpet player could possibly want to study in terms of technique. I think this is one of the absolute, sort of one-size-fits-all technique books ever written for any instrument. It's a little expensive. This one in particular has cost me several $100s because I keep losing them. So while this book hasn't lasted for the last 30 years or so, I've been playing out of it for about that long. In one way, shape, or form. And I try to do something out of the Arbin's book just about every day if I can. Anyway, so the other thing that I mentioned about keeping your chops in shape is not just practicing out of a method book, but also trying to keep your inspiration and creativity going. In general, when I'm practicing technique, I always focus on a few things, tone production being first among them. That's the top of the pyramid for me. Second is air, which of course leads directly to tone production. So keeping your air moving, articulation, flow, developing range. There's a number of different things that I try to touch upon every single day. Different forms of articulation, different types of exercises, right? So anything that you do within those parameters, any amount of time you spend on each of those is going to be extremely helpful. Another thing that I want to stress early, but I don't want to give too much time to it, it explains itself, but I think I'm among the majority of brass experts in brass pedagogy who, of course, I don't consider myself one. I'm simply espousing other people's ideas here. But is the idea of not practicing on tired chops. You can't get anything done. Essentially, all you're going to be doing is ingraining bad habits, and that's the last thing that we want to do by far. So with that in mind, what I'd like to focus on now is a way that we can incorporate a multitude of different things and kind of get a lot of stuff done all at once. The first thing that I'm going to mention is scales, and I can already see a bunch of you rolling your eyes and groaning at home while you're watching this. I understand. Scales are not the most glamorous and they're not the most exciting thing to practice, but they're essential, especially to an improviser, but to every musician out there, trumpet player or whatever, accordion, piccolo, steam calliope, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're playing, a scale is important. I don't know about the steam calliope, I just threw that out of nowhere. So, so utilizing scales is extremely important. Knowing your scales, understanding them, and then as an improviser, understanding how they fit into more relevant chord structure and more relevant concepts. So one of the things that I like to do in terms of fundamentals practice is incorporate scales into that fundamentals practice while also, at some point, being able to use them to spark my creativity. So let's take the example of just a concert B-flat scale. Virtually everybody should know this. Every trumpet player should know this. It's like a #1 scale you ever learn. You can practice a lot of the things we're talking about. So tone production, and this is recorded on an iPhone, so the quality is not going to be great. But if you're thinking about tone production, you could just practice your scale in a very traditional or standard manner. So just trying to utilize the air, trying to keep the tone steady, powerful through the range. If you're practicing soft, trying to keep the sound steady and beautiful, but in control, utilizing a lot more air while you're playing soft than when you do loud. Another thing you can do is practice articulations. There's a number of different articulations that I practice every day. You can practice staccato, marcato, you can practice all kinds of different tonguing combinations. You can do that in a scale while also, kind of expanding the way that you're thinking about the scale. So if we stay in B flat, let's do something like a scale in thirds, but we're going to slur into the upbeat and then tongue the downbeat again. So it's going to be something like this. So a scale in thirds is where you jump up to third, go back down, jump back up a third. So you're going up a third, down a step, up a third, down a step, etc., etc. So fitting articulation into that. Now, if I wanted to practice a more jazz articulation, I'd be looking at something like. Which is literally where I'm simply switching the emphasis. I'm placing the emphasis on the upbeat and slurring into the downbeat versus the previous example where I'm emphasizing the downbeat. You can do fourths, you can do fifths, you can do sixths, you can do any number of different combinations within the scale. You could be moving up and down. Right? So you can use one scale and get a lot of stuff done. You could be working on flexibility, you could be working on tone, you could be working on production. There's a lot of different things that you can do within the confines of a scale. Also, you can work on your creativity. There's a lot of time that I like to spend in my practice routine to just make sure that I'm keeping my personal creativity flowing as best I can. So staying literally just within the concert B-flat scale actually gives us a lot of freedom and leeway to be expressive and be creative. So I'm just going to stay in the concert B-flat scale and improvise literally nothing but those notes, right? This is not only just learning my scale, but it's also a means by which to demonstrate that anybody can be an improviser. Anybody can improvise. If you even know just one scale, you can improvise in some way, shape, or form, right? Super simple, but it doesn't sound like I'm just practicing a B-flat scale, hopefully. For me, one of the big things is, especially when I'm not able to perform with my fellow musicians in the Airmen of Note or with any number of great musicians in the local Washington, D.C. area, is trying to stay motivated, trying to stay positive, and trying to stay focused. And as an improviser, it's really important for me to do all of those things while also maintaining my ability on the instrument. So hopefully today I've given you a little bit of an idea as to how to move forward, how to structure your practice, maybe some things to think about. Even if you don't have a method book, if you know one scale, you could theoretically learn all of them. And the wonderful thing is, the internet is an incredible resource. It has so much stuff out there. I'm going to sound like an old person, but when I was coming up, the internet wasn't a thing yet. And so I couldn't go on YouTube and just watch a performance of Wynton Marsalis or whoever. As much as I would have loved to. We had VHS cassettes back then, so if you don't know what that is, look it up. I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere. Anyway, I hope that this is able to answer some questions. I hope this is able to potentially inspire some of you. And please feel free to leave any comments, and be sure to follow the United States Air Force Band on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course I am available for any personal questions that you may have. So if you'd like my contact information, please leave a comment and I'd be happy to respond. Thanks very much.